very serene. Chris is here. Looks like his screen is black, but he's here. How's everybody doing? Welcome back. Allow me to give that the old. Can I just turn? Apparently, I can't just. I just gotta stop it. I can't even. So yeah, hey everybody, welcome back to OTC Live. Your hosts Bill and Chris. Chris almost so close today.
Yeah.
So close to being here.
I was taking a shower and it just felt so nice being in the hot water. I'm like, this is shit.
I don't get it. I don't get it. But hey, you're here.
For some reason, every week I get it screwed up. I'm like, okay, we're recording at 12 and 2:30 this week. Nope. It's 12:30 and 2. Oh shit. Yeah. I don't know.
But you're here.
I don't know.
You're here.
Yeah.
Despite all your rage.
Still here.
Still here. Anyway, welcome.
Not doing their lyrics.
No. Welcome to the show, everybody. Our final OTC live broadcast of the year. We do have the album show.
Yep.
I forgot that I had the fast focus on there.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you want to see something hilarious before I talk about the other? So I was digging through all my camera stuff, right? And I found my old like Sony Handycam digital video camera.
Okay.
And the memory stick that came out of it, and hopefully it's kind of small there. 8 megabytes.
Wow.
8 megabytes. Right there.
8
megabytes.
Oh my God.
To put into contrast, this is the card from my drone. That's 64 gigs.
Right.
Now allow me to compare the sizes for you.
Jesus. Oh.
Less than half the size. Like 640,000 times the space or something insane like that. How ridiculous is that, dude? 8 megabytes. You can't even put one picture on that now. I mean, you can if you put like low quality stuff, but
as comparison, one file for me to send to my 3D printer, one of them was 30 meg. So I'd need a bunch of those. That's ridiculous.
I exported some motion photos today to Kyle for some stuff we're working on, and it was like exports as a video. I think it was like 5, and it was like, I don't know, like a gig, because it was ProRes footage, so it was like. Anyway, hey, it's our last live broadcast of the year, so we're gonna get into some stuff. We've been doing the holiday horror stuff, but we do have a live show coming up. I'm not saying it's a live broadcast. Although there it is again. I keep forgetting, man.
Yeah,
like that.
You do. Yeah.
Like that. There it is. Anyway, I'm in a weird mood today.
All right.
I'm wearing my Krampus sweatshirt. Stand up so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Krampus sweatshirt.
What is Black Craft?
They're a merchandising company.
Okay.
I get a lot of stuff from them. They did a holiday box this year. So I ordered that. It was a mystery box. You know what you got in it. They just told you, like, you're going to get a sweatshirt, you're going to get a long sleeve shirt, a regular shirt, and some other knickknacks. But this Krampus crew neck hoodie or crew neck sweatshirt was in it, and I was pretty excited.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty tight. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then I got a T-shirt that has like a skull, like a Grim Reaper type guy with a Santa hat on. And on the back it says, you can't spell Santa without Satan. Or you can't spell Satan. No, you can't spell Satan without Santa.
That's true. Well, both of those are correct, sir.
Yes. So also teaching things. Yes, as I was saying, though, our last live show is right now. You're watching it or listening to it. Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't know if you are, because I can't seem to get the chat working on Mob Crush.
Oh. Okay.
But I know that Twitch was working when I quickly checked. But anyway, so but we do have a live show coming up. What's the difference between a live show and a live broadcast, you ask, Chris?
No, because I know.
Oh,
I've been doing this for a couple of years now.
Well, that's good. I'm glad someone has. we are doing this live broadcast, which you can watch now. You can sign on and watch it. But we're doing a live show for our top 20 albums of the year this coming Sunday, December 27th. Live show because you have to be invited or have I guess like a virtual ticket or whatever. It's a Zoom code. But like it's not open to the public. You have to have an invite to come into it. We got a bunch of people signed up already. We've got all the lists are done. Myself, Melissa, and Bro all have our lists completed. But a few days before the show, usually I'm the guy that's changing my list as the show is going on the air.
Right.
So, but a lot of good music this year, guys. A lot of good records. A lot of people were in isolation for a long time, and they just sat and they just wrote music.
That's true.
Myself included. There's a Burn Pile EP coming out in January, if you weren't aware already. And if you haven't watched the video on YouTube, which you haven't, because I know how many times it's been viewed. Well, a couple of you have. Maybe a couple dozen. But yeah, go to, if you look up Burn Pile, you just get a bunch of videos of people burning shit in a pile. But if you go to the OTC,
and there is a
page,
song apparently called Burn Pile that my kids listen to. So
there's a song by, there's, I think a couple.
Like Move Mountains.
Moving Mountains. That actually is kind of what I named the project after, because they're a really good band, and that's a fucking killer song.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't necessarily named directly after that, but like I'd heard that song, and I remember when my dad used to make burn piles when I was younger at the end of the season, which you can't really do anymore, at least not up where they live. But if you go to OTC Industries YouTube page, which some of you may be watching on right now, and just go into the videos, it's there. The song is called So This Is How It Ends. I'm pretty stoked with the way it came out.
Yeah.
I think it looks
good.
So.
And I was looking you up on the Spotify, and you need more followers. People need to just go and follow your thing.
Yeah, I don't think about followers on Spotify. I don't even like, this is true, but you follow me on Spotify, follow Burn Pile. Well, I say me. I guess I'm the only member of Burn Pile, but like.
Yeah, so you can say me.
Sure, me.
That's fair.
But on the record that we have coming out, OKDoc/SmokeActual20XX/Gus, he produced it. He played a bunch of guitar parts on it. He did all of the mixing and the mastering on it. So that record is as much him as it is me, and it would never have came out the way that it did without his input. So yeah, and you can follow me on follow Burn Pile on Instagram at @burn_pile, I believe. Hang on, everyone. Let me just take. Well, no, because I've got like 6 Instagram handles now. Let's go through this right now, where you guys can make sure you hit up all of my Instagram handles. So at OTC Bill, that's my main one, where you get a little bit of everything, and most of the OTC content goes on that. You can also follow Burn Pile at @burn_pile. Follow at Safer Spaces Doc, where you can follow all the information about Safer Spaces, which, if I hadn't mentioned, Chris, today, at least, is available on Amazon Prime.
That is true.
Safer Spaces, the documentary short Kyle and I made about Shauna Potter, lead singer of the feminist hardcore punk band War on Women. It's real good. I'm real proud of it. I'm very proud of it. It's one of those docs I feel like people should watch for the people, for the way the world is right now. You can pick up some pointers. You can get some information on some charities that are out there. It's only 20 minutes. Oh, Mike just started following me. I just got
nice.
I just got the thing. Thanks, Mike.
Very nice.
At OTC Industries is the production house, the production company where you get all of the stuff. And of course, the one that's closest to my heart, at Don't Forget to Leave _doc, which is the documentary Kyle and I are making about my good friend Tim Landers, who passed away a couple of years ago. We will be back in production hopefully this spring.
Good.
So, Chris, do you have anything you want to tell people to do? So I know you want to tell them to stop complaining about The Mandalorian.
Oh, are people complaining about that?
Oh, I don't know. I just assumed. I haven't watched it yet, so.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I had to watch.
Yeah, this is what I want to tell people. Tell Bill to watch the fucking show.
I had to watch Mother Krampus this morning. I didn't have time for The Mandalorian.
Oh my God, I just gave up after Christmas. I'm like, this is enough. I've had enough.
I watched Mother Krampus, but I didn't watch Mother Krampus 2.
I almost did watch that one. I almost did, and then I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I've watched enough.
I didn't get nearly the amount of Christmas stuff in that I wanted to get in.
Yeah.
I just with Christmas being this weekend, and having 3 or 4 things going on, I just was not able to get the stuff I wanted to get to. I apologize. Fair. I apologize. I wanted to, but I got a few.
Who are you apologizing to?
I don't know. You maybe. I don't know. Somebody.
You know what? You should watch that show. I have the time. I absolutely will. No, let me finish. I'm Kanye right now.
Oh, I didn't even put you on screen yet. and now your camera's frozen. So.
Oh wait, what? Oh, well, looks fine here.
Yeah, you're not frozen on the. Okay, there you go. All right.
Okay, so watch the show when you have the time to really just sit with no phone and be able to just watch and enjoy it.
Oops, sorry, I just dropped that.
Don't fit it in. You know.
Well, I wanted to wait till the season was done so I could watch. I didn't have to wait weekly, so I could just binge it out. And now that it's done, I can do that.
That's true. Yeah. So, I have left most of the Star Wars groups all of the Star Wars groups that had people yelling at other people, arguing, shitting on stuff. If you're a fan, like, it's okay. Every week, well, for like 4 or 5 weeks, I would on Are You Serious? I would say, all right, here's something that bugged me about The Rise of Skywalker. And I would bring up a plot point that I think didn't make sense or wasn't well thought out. Like, for instance, in the very beginning, we got Poe and Finn going in the Falcon to that giant iceberg space station to have a physical transfer of data into R2-D2 when 34 years later, before, we watched Jin transmit plans from a radar dish to a ship without having to physically go there. So why did they have to go there and plug it into R2?
Man, that's like the nerdiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Also, why didn't they just open the top hatch and that dude just drop the container in with the hard drive on and be like, there you go?
I don't know.
There's just a lot of stuff in that Abrams likes to do stuff that looks neat, and I don't blame him for that, but you gotta have plot to back up your looks neat kind of stuff.
Because they're not artistic films, so it's like you need the story and the detail. Like, don't get me wrong, the stuff looks beautiful.
Oh yeah,
but it looks
great.
It's not like watching we always use him as the example, but Jodorowsky. You can just watch his movies like a fucking looking at a painting. And the story doesn't matter. But Star Wars, you need story. I mean, as much and like, as much.
You need decent character development and motivation, and it needs to make sense with what came before it.
Yo, did you see that the dude that plays Poe Dameron apparently was in a ska band in the 90s?
No.
Yo, look up that story right now. I saw one of those people learned that the actor that played Poe Dameron was in a ska band in the 90s, and the internet is collectively losing their mind.
Typed in Oscar Isaacs, and the first thing that comes up is Oscar Isaacs ska band.
Read it to the people.
Oh my God. This is from Alternative Press.
Alt P, my place. If you're 14, and listen to music, Alt Press is your place.
Looks like the Star Wars and Green Day fandoms have crossed paths in an unusual way. Green Day wasn't a ska band.
Just keep reading. Don't judge.
Come on. Who are you talking to?
Talking to you, Judgy McJudgerson.
So, as it turns out, before trailblazing their way into the Star Wars franchise, one actor was actually in a ska band that once opened for the American Idiot Trio. Fair enough, article.
Show you.
Although he has appeared in various films and shows over the years, actor Oscar Isaac truly gained worldwide fame after appearing in 2015 Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Since then, Isaac has starred as Poe Dameron in 17's Last Jedi and 19's Rise of Skywalker and the Resistance TV series. However, long before he was battling it out on screen alongside Chewbacca, Isaac was rocking out with his ska band. Back in the 90s, Isaac played in a band known as the Blinking Underdogs. As it turns out, the band ended up opening up for some big names, including Green Day and, of course, the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. In fact, Isaac previously opened up about his past career in ska to Jimmy Kimmel. I was in a few bands, actually. He said there were a few: Petrified Frogs, Closet Heterosexuals, The Worms, and then I'm Blinking Underdogs as well. We played on a stage at a festival about 5 hours before the Boss Tones, but that was a great thing to have on your resume. Now it looks like a rare photo of the Blinking Underdogs has reemerged in the internet, has a lot of thoughts. This week, Twitter user @handsome_pa shared the throwback photo that has truly captured everyone's attention. Isaac in the bandana can be seen standing alongside his former I just got to the picture. His former bandmates. He doesn't look any different. Still thinking about Oscar Isaac's ska band that opened for Green Day and the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones in the late 90s is the what's on the thing, on the tweet.
I'm not getting the chat stuff. I just realized that. So I opened I got the Facebook chat in front of me.
Wow.
Dude, that how amazing is that? Pick it up.
Good for him. That's awesome.
Pick it up.
That is so funny. And he really take off the 90s in sync shiny nylon shirt and the bandana, and he's got a wallet chain.
Of course he does.
Oh man, he's got a wallet chain and a Corona.
Ooh.
What did he play though? That's what I want to know.
I think he was a bass player. I thought I saw another article.
Of course he was. Of course he was. That is awesome.
So funny. Joe in the chat room, Joe for some reason wants me to say Super Save is having a sale on soda. Is that a Superstore reference? What is that?
I don't know.
What is that? And that was I don't know if he's still what's happening, but
that's awesome.
Ollie's there. What's up, Ollie? Ollie had sent me a couple of movies for us to cover, and I was having trouble locating them, Ollie. So just keep that in mind. That neither of them were available on any of the U.S. streaming services, and I couldn't locate them easily. So just so you know. And then he's telling me to make sure that I watch Mandalorian before someone spoils it for me.
How can you avoid all that?
I don't know. Because I do most of my social media I do on Instagram now.
Okay.
So I don't get, like, when I was using Facebook a lot more. Facebook I find is the spoiler hub, because everything is in text before you see the photos. Instagram, you see photos before you see anything else. So if I see anything like Mandalorian related, I just scroll on by it.
Okay.
So I guess.
Yeah. That's why I jumped out of a lot of groups. The one Star Wars group that I'm in is called Star Wars for fans who aren't dicks about it.
That's a great name.
And honestly, they will kick you out if you start being a fucking troll, and I'm all for that. So it's nice to go in there and people are like, I like this. And some people are like, yeah, it wasn't my favorite. And that's it. It's okay. And I'm like, that's the kind of neutrality I need in a fandom, because all fandoms get toxic after a while, and Star Wars has been toxic since the
apparently
90s.
The audio is messed up again on Facebook. That's why they were saying
fantastic.
So
am I Barry White again? Hello, baby.
Yeah, you do sound like that, actually.
Awesome.
You do sound like that. Sorry. Again, that's not something that we have any control over. So bizarre how that happens.
Yeah.
It's not like that on Twitch, though. I don't know about Facebook, but it's not like that on Twitch.
Huh.
Anyway, all right. Christmas is this weekend. We have been trudging our way through holiday horror films. We have covered, hang on, I'll get all the ones that we've covered up here in front of me. Yeah, more than I ever would have wanted to cover. All right, so not including what I watched for this week, which I actually watched a decent amount of. I have 4, I guess, Christmas-related horror films, and then I have 2 additional Christmas films that aren't genre-related, but are maybe. One of them definitely falls into the cult category. The other one doesn't. All right, so we did, up to this week, we did Better Watch Out, Krampus, the Christmas Devil, Krampus, Krampus the Reckoning, Krampus Unleashed, Krampus Origins, Anna and the Apocalypse, Body, Black Christmas Original, Black Christmas 2019, the Star Wars Lego Holiday Special.
Yep.
Those are all the ones I've watched. I know there was a few that you watched beforehand that I didn't.
Did you say Saint and Rare Exports?
No, I did not. Saint and Rare Exports.
Okay, and also what was it? Where'd it go? I don't know. Didn't we watch a home invasion one?
I don't think that was Christmas though, was it?
Yeah. There was snow.
A home invasion one. Oh, that was Better Watch Out.
Yeah, okay.
The one with the kid.
Yeah.
The one with the kid.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, how many did you get in this week?
I got in 1, 2, 3, like 5.
Okay. Did you watch?
But a couple of them are just like straight traditional, like Gremlins, Scrooged, and it's a ghost story. So Muppet Christmas Carol, because we watched that one.
Well, let me ask you this: did you watch the Creep Show holiday special?
Oh yeah, weeks and weeks ago.
All right, I just watched it, so let's start with that.
Okay, I thought we did that.
No.
Oh
no, you said that you know what you had said that you had watched it, but I hadn't watched it yet. So
wait
like,
a minute.
Oh, we'll talk about it. What?
Okay, there's only one, right?
There's a Christmas one that's out now.
When did that come out?
I don't know. I think last week.
Oh shit! I thought it was the same thing, so I didn't watch it.
So you're talking about the Halloween one?
Yeah.
Why would I ask you about the Halloween one when we're doing Christmas movies?
Because I don't remember when when anything fucking happens anymore. You know, like I got a job, I haven't gone to it, and then all of a sudden I get this email that says, "Hey, can you send us a picture for your ID?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's like I'm doing that. I forgot."
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing. I don't even fucking like Christmas is like 2 days away, and I thought it was 2.5 weeks away.
Nope, it's day after tomorrow.
All right, so no, I did not watch the Christmas one.
All right, then. Well, I'll start with that then.
All right,
since I now have the information in front of me. So, Shudder obviously is behind the Creep Show reboot TV series with Greg Nicotero show running it. He also directed this, titled a Creep Show holiday special, Shapeshifters Anonymous.
I like the title.
So you'll want to watch this. This is
okay.
This is pretty crazy. So you have a man, an anxious. I'm just going to read you here. An anxious man who is trying to figure out his disorder and enlists in an organization called Shapeshifters Anonymous, without realizing that Santa Claus is after him.
Huh?
Yeah. So you got a bunch of people at like what would be like an AA meeting, only it's for shapeshifters.
Okay.
And this kind of dorky nerdy gentleman shows up and he's like, "Hey, listen, I need is this SA?" And they're like, "Yeah, but this is a private meeting. You can't come in." And he's like, "Well, no, I need your help." And they're like, "No." They're like, "Do you have an invite?" And he's like, "No." And then he's like, the password. He's like, "Well, do you have the password?" And he's like, Landis. And they're like, and then somebody else in the background, "That was last week's password." So the girl that runs it says, "Hey, let him in." And so basically it sets up this world that there's all these people that are shapeshifters, not lycanthropes necessarily, but shapeshifters. Like one of the guys turns into a turtle.
Okay.
One of the women turns into a cheetah.
All right.
One of the men
sounds hot.
Yep. Yeah, it's not bad.
I'm just being sexist.
Yeah. Sexist or sexy. It's a fine line. There's one gentleman that doesn't speak at all. One guy turns
giraffe. Does he turn into a giraffe since giraffes have no voice?
No, there's a dude that turns into a warthog. Like a warthog.
That sounds dangerous.
Yep. And our main guy turns into a werewolf. So he is.
Oh, okay. So he's like the most traditional.
Yes. And they talk about how they never actually seen a real werewolf. But so they tell this whole story, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I'm like, all right, this is the Creep Show holiday special. I'm like, there's nothing about this that's Christmas.
Right.
Like, I'm like, there's nothing Christmassy about it. I'm like, There's no like lights or like there's a little snow on the ground. That's like
Okay.
the thing. And I'm like, what? I'm like, really? Is this another one that I'm watching where they just threw the Christmas name on it to garner views or whatever?
Hmm.
And like halfway through it, they talk about like the origins of shapeshifters, and they have this book called the Book of Ben, and Ben was the first shapeshifter. He was the first werewolf or whatever. And then they talk about how shapeshifter's mortal enemy is Santa Claus.
Why?
Santa Claus was put on this earth by the devil to rid it, or by God, I think, to rid it of shapeshifters. And he's got these like spinning talons on his hands that are the Santa Claus.
Oh my God.
It sounds stupid,
It
but you know
does.
what? It was pretty fucking awesome.
It sounds stupid, but I'm gonna watch the fuck out of that tonight.
It was pretty good, man. I don't want to give a whole lot away because it only runs 45 minutes. There's some cool practical effects because obviously Nicotero and KMB are involved, so they go hard on the puppets and stuff for the transformations and
So unlike the Halloween one, this is live action.
No, this is an actual Creep Show episode. It runs like 42 minutes maybe. It's quite good. It's quite fun. And I was all pissed off and I was like, "What? Is this another one of those bullshit? It's not really Christmas." And then I was like, "Oh, Santa Claus." I was like, "Santa Claus, I know him." Like
that's the name of the guy.
Yeah, it was good, man. The effects were cool. It's got just enough humor in it, and it's also got a shitload of bloodshed. So, like, yeah, I was on board, man. So, Creep Show holiday special, Shapeshifters Anonymous, gets a heavy B from me and a recommend.
All right.
Yeah. So,
that's
all right.
not bad.
You're up, dude.
Should I just go with the start with the straight up traditional stuff?
Start with whatever you want. I've got a couple of non-genre ones to talk about, so whatever you want to start with.
So it used to be a tradition in the Victorian age, I believe, to tell ghost stories on Christmas. And I do believe, and I'm not looking it up, that's where the whole idea of A Christmas Carol came from. So it's, A Christmas Carol, if you don't celebrate Christmas or don't give a shit about it, it's one rich guy who has to be terrorized into being nice by 3 ghosts. 4 technically. And that's what happens. And there have been many, many versions. I think there was Alistair Sims was one, and George C. Scott and Patrick Stewart and what's his face from Prometheus, Guy Pearce. But hands down, the best of them all is the Muppet Christmas Carol, because Michael Caine plays it like he's in the Royal Shakespeare Company, and he doesn't wink at the camera. There's nothing. He gives an amazingly good performance as Scrooge.
Absolutely.
And it's a little dark. It's darker than some of the other ones, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, that one out of all the Scrooges, that one I would rate the highest, and then probably the George C. Scott one after, because that was the first one I ever saw.
That's pretty good too, yeah.
Just a quick, give it just a quick review. Obviously, you got kids. I recommend that to watch, and I'd give that an A-.
Did you watch it on Disney Plus, or where'd you watch it?
Yeah, Disney. Okay. No, on Plex. With the copy I have.
Oh, all right, cool. Because I know I have a DVD of it, and the transfer is dog shit. So, okay. I was curious.
Well, I can't even go back to DVD anymore. I can't do standard def anymore.
No, I hear you. I'm
spoiled.
I watch it if I have to.
Yeah.
But depending on what it is and like the feel of it, like, yeah, I can watch like a 70s grindhouse movie in its original and it doesn't.
If it's for the show, that's fine. But if it's for my personal enjoyment, I want the best looking version I can find.
That's fair.
I think that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so next up for me then.
Yeah.
Let me do my non-horror related one. I watched this with the wife last night. Hulu original from 2020, Happiest Season,
Okay.
Starring
Hadn't
Kristen
heard of that.
Stewart, Mackenzie Davis, Mary Steenburgen, Victor Garber, Allison Brie, Mary Holland, Dan Levy, Aubrey Plaza. A lot of heavy hitters in this.
Sorry, what is the name of this
It
with
is
Annie from Community in it?
Happiest Season.
Okay. Let me add that to the list.
Yes. So this is written and directed by Clea Duvall, who, if you don't know my name and you're a horror fan, she was in The Faculty.
Okay.
She was the girl with the freckles and the short hair.
Okay.
I think. No, am I thinking of somebody else?
I don't know.
No, that's her. Yeah, that's her. She was also in Argo, but I'm a cheerleader in Ghost of Mars. But so she is an openly gay woman, and this film is written autobiographical of her. And it's basically, you have Kristen Stewart, who plays.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry, I've seen the ads for this now. So
So you have Kristen Stewart, who plays Abby. She is the girlfriend of Mackenzie Davis's character, Harper. Harper decides to bring Abby home for Christmas, but does not let her know before they leave that she has not told her parents that she's gay. So needless to say, that could pose a problem, considering Victor Garber, or Firestorm from Legends of Tomorrow, if you're into that.
I like him, yeah.
He plays Ted, and he is currently like a city councilman, but he is going to be running for mayor. So they have a how do I want to word this? They have a standard to uphold to the public, and having a gay daughter might not necessarily play well into that narrative that they have written.
Boo.
Yes. You have Mary Steenburgen playing Tipper, the mother. So the two parents are very kind of like they love their kids, but they're very kind of like overbearing in terms of how they treat them and how they are looked at. You have older sister Sloane, played by Allison Brie, in a role that you don't see Allison Brie in. She plays like the heavy hitter bitch character in this. And she's quite good in it. And my wife Mel made a really good point, because she goes, I like watching Allison Brie in a role like this, because if you know anything about Allison Brie, she seems like one of the nicest people on the planet.
Yeah, and the complete opposite of what you're saying.
You can tell she probably had a really good time. There's like a point where she's talking to Kristen Stewart, and she asked her something about something, and Kristen Stewart just starts talking, and she looks at her and she goes, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And she just walks away. But it's one of those things where you have the family dynamic. Everyone in the family has other issues. You have the other sister, Jane, played by Mary Holland, who's like the one that's like the parents haven't put any interest in and haven't paid any attention to, and she's kind of like the forgotten one. And then you have Sloane, which is she's the bitchy sister, but basically she went through law school and she gave up her law degree to create gift baskets as a living. She had twins. And then her and her husband left their law firm and decided to start a gift basket business. Or as she called it, what did she call it? She called it personalized gift experiences, I think is what she called it. And then you have the youngest daughter, played by Mackenzie Davis, Harper, who is like writing for the Pittsburgh Gazette and is like writes these amazing like op-ed pieces and stuff. And the father is like, Harper's the best, which is why the idea is like she can't tell them that she's gay. And then you throw in Aubrey Plaza, who was like the hidden girlfriend in high school, who's now a doctor. And there's all these great family dynamics that kind of come out of it. And I felt like I said this when I watched Underwater, but Kristen Stewart, much like her co-star in Twilight, Rob, what's his last name?
Pattinson.
Thank you very much. Yeah. The two of them have really built nice little careers for themselves. And they're both quite good actors. Like, she plays, like, Kristen Stewart plays, her personal life, I believe she's straight because she dated Rob Pattinson, but.
No, I don't think she is straight.
Is she bisexual then? Or does she identify as like bisexual?
Think so. Because of Nova and movies we watch with actors in them, I kind of pay attention to all that now to see, so she can identify with some people.
Well, you know what though? It doesn't matter because she plays the role killer. She's great in the role.
Well, I'm gonna look anyway.
Okay.
Because people say that people that identify as that should play those roles, so that's kind of.
Well, I mean, whether she does or she doesn't, she's great in the role. Very believable. You feel for her. She's got kind of an attitude, and you kind of like, but at first you're kind of like that. Oh, and Eugene Levy's son, who everyone is.
I like him.
Yeah, everyone's losing their mind over what he does in Schitt's Creek, and I've never actually watched Schitt's Creek, but I know Mel loves it.
Well, the title was very off-putting to me.
Oh, I don't care about the title. I just don't have time. I have too many other things I'm trying to do.
Yeah, she identifies as bisexual.
All right, cool, perfect. So he's in it. And he's great in it too, as the gay male best friend. And again, he plays that role to a T. He's so flamboyant, but like in this just like super like not non-threatening. That's not the way I want to put it, but like he just like it comes off so natural. You know how sometimes when you have the gay characters in movies, they still, even in 2020, just push the envelope so hard of like, well, you're the gay character, so you're gonna be crazy and flamboyant. But like he just like it just seems
almost like we need you to be as we need you to be stage flamboyant, so the people in the back realize it without no subtlety.
No subtlety, but he's like. He's great. He's great. Actually, everyone is great. I really thought I wasn't super psyched about watching this. Mel was like, "Can we watch it?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, "I got to watch like 12 more Krampus movies." And she's like, oh, "Can we just watch this?"
She's like, "God damn it."
We got to watch Krampus Goes to Strip Club or whatever it is. Like, but it was really good,
Krampus
man.
scared stupid.
Yeah. It was good. I liked it. I got so mad at the Harper character because she makes some really dumb decisions, but like you're supposed to. Like, she doesn't want anyone to know what's going on, and then you find something out about the sister, and then there's like the two of them going. It was real good. It's absolutely worth watching. It's funny. It's heartfelt. It speaks to, like, I think a lot of situations that families still go through. It feels pretty true to life, considering like the high level of white bureaucratic family that she's in. It's good. I would give it a recommend, and I would also give that a B. I thought it was quite good.
Now they go home for the holidays, right? They go home for
Correct.
Christmas.
Yes, they go home for Christmas.
So it's technically.
Oh, Christmas plays a very big part in the movie because they're doing, the Christmas dinner, and then on Christmas Eve they have the big Christmas party, and then they have the white elephant gift giveaway. They very much.
All right, I was just making sure what part we weren't sticking with. It was the normal genre that we normally go into. Right. Saying.
And also, and Aubrey Plaza is a great addition to this too. I feel like she's another one that just pretty much kills it whatever she does. And she's now at that point in her career and her age that she's grown into those much more adult roles. Because I still felt like even when she was like just a couple years ago, she still looked like a friggin' teenager, and was like,
yeah, she could play teen easy.
Yeah, she could probably get away with playing college age. But like, I don't know what Aubrey's actual age is, but she now looks like, she's a grown woman, and she is like, she plays a doctor in this, and you're like, okay, I believe this, whereas before sometimes like, you put somebody into a role where like they look like they're 17 years old, and you're like, yeah, this woman is not.
Go ahead and guess how old she is.
I'm betting she's older than I think she is. So
I'm not giving you a hint.
All right.
No hint.
I'll say 36.
You are exactly right.
Am I really?
Yeah.
Yay, Bill.
Yeah.
Shots, bro.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, she's great. And she's in it just enough. Like, this is not her movie. She's definitely supporting, and it was kind of one of those things where it was like, a lot of good other people in it. So she probably came in being like, yeah, I'll throw my role into this. And she plays a pivotal part in the movie too, which is nice. Great. Yeah, it's on Hulu currently. Nice. So what's next on your list, Chris? I don't know.
Well, since it was called for on our Facebook group and I did watch it, let's talk about Gremlins.
All right.
Gremlins is absolutely a Christmas movie because it's got decorations, there's snow plows, Phoebe Cates' trauma, the gremlin, the mogwai itself is a Christmas present. So it's rooted in that, but it's stuff that happens in and around Christmas. So for anybody that doesn't know, I don't know who that would be. Maybe my kids, because I just watched it on my own. The dad buys a present from David Lopan. Not really. But if David Lopan had a pawn shop, that's what where he got it from. And it's this creature that is pretty much a one of a kind called a Mogwai, voiced by Howie Mandel in the second movie. I'm not sure about this one. And it comes with rules: no bright light, don't get it wet, don't let it eat after midnight. And then when all that happens, because you know it will, after all the cute getting to know him, he names him Gizmo, or he names himself. I'm not really sure. I can't remember.
I don't remember. I don't think it matters.
He gets wet because the art supplies fall on him. I actually thought, for getting him wet, that was a pretty decently organic way to do it, because Billy is an artist, and as we see later on, he's an architectural like artist type guy. And so he would have water on his desk with paintbrushes in it, and that's exactly what spills onto him. And that's how he multiplies, through boop, 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 little balls that pop out of his back that grow into other Mogwai. And something I would like to see explored in the sequel that they keep saying they're going to make is, why are all of the Mogwai that come off of Gizmo assholes? Why is Gizmo the only good one?
Yeah, I'm curious of that too. And are there other good ones out there?
Right. Or is the water creates evil ones, and regular organic procreation creates even tempered ones?
I don't know.
Interesting. So we got evil fuzzy guys who snip and try to bite and cause all kinds of havoc. And then, of course, they eat fried chicken after midnight. And the whole after midnight thing, it's like it's such a nitpicky thing. It's like, oh, well, how do they tell time? What about time zones? Well, you know what? When you're in another time zone, midnight is midnight. It's the lunar cycle. It's the daylight. Maybe midnight means 5 hours after the sun goes down. Maybe because there's no bright light and it's the darkest time of night. That's when they are able to transform.
Yeah. I mean, it's all mystical stuff, so who cares?
Yeah, that's exactly it. We have the mystical Asian guy who has them in a fancy looking Asian box, and it looks like a tiny King Caesar from Godzilla.
King Caesar.
Say what I want. So Caesar. You don't ask for a Caesar salad.
I don't ask for a Caesar salad either. So
no, I don't like them. Not my favorite. You know what kind of salad I like?
Chicken salad.
What the fuck is up with you and guessing today? Good job.
Is that what you were gonna say?
It was, yeah.
Ham salad. I'm into ham salad.
And then they wreak havoc, and it's up to Billy and his mom to take out all of these gremlins that have transformed. Very alien-like in the eggs and the breathing and the lights, and it's a straight up horror movie.
It really is.
It's not a family friendly thing. I remember seeing this in the theater, and there was a little bit of what the hell is this? Not like, Labyrinth, which you expect. Oh, it's got puppets in it. No. But the design on the gremlins is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's killer. Still to this day, it looks great.
Yeah, they're fun. They have personality. The puppeteering is just top notch, and the amount of them in certain scenes. The bar scene, I think, it had to have been a logistical nightmare to film, and it just comes off so good. There's so much debauchery and chaos going on. They really nailed what would happen, because you can't have like ghoulies and there's like 3 of them. It's got, if your movie's called Gremlins, there's got to be like 1 billion of them running around.
In the chat room here, says according with now looked up on Google, and Google tells them Mogwai that are evil is because they live short lives.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah. Joe also says the one gremlin went into the blender, it freaked him the fuck out as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. But good for the mom though. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
There are to be fair, there are like huge plot holes in this thing. Not plot holes, but things that you would expect to happen. Like if there's beer all over the floor, is that not water? Or when he was in the what did he fall in the pool? Is that where he multiplied so much?
I think so.
Right? Yeah.
It wasn't an aquarium, right? It was a pool.
No, it's a fountain at the end in like a Sears garden center.
Okay.
But then like you would imagine him reproducing, like that would use up his physical form, and after a while he should basically have just withered into nothing after multiplying a certain amount of times. But then again, we're talking about magical creatures, so once you throw the magic into it, it's just like maybe maybe the water opens a portal to another dimension and baby ones just pop right out from the other dimension. Like the Camino cloning facility, they're like, oh shit, he's in the water, open the gates.
Yeah,
here we go. Regardless, they are some of the best creature design I've seen. Like totally surprising. The Mogwai, you're like, ugh, a whole movie about these things. And then Stripe shows up fully, fully spiked out. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit. And then Phoebe Cates' story about her dad.
Oh my God. That's the coming down the chimney story, right?
That's so weird to add in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is.
But tragedies do happen on the holidays and they will scar you for the rest of your life. I know somebody who married someone whose mother killed themselves around Christmas, and 30, 40 years later, she's never been able to move past it.
Right.
She also doesn't go for therapy or anything. She refuses that. They're divorced. She's a piece of shit.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
But yeah, Gremlins is obviously a classic.
Yeah. Apparently, you just blew Joe's mind in the chat room here. He says he goes, water dimension. Whoa, shit! Chris just melted my brain.
Well, I've had 35 years to think about it. So
good point. Good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else on Gremlins? Gremlins?
No, that's a good one. I think Gremlins is a decent midway point from kids horror, PG-13 horror, maybe, to like that's a bridging film. That's one that doesn't belong in either category. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of stands on its own.
I wanted to try to show it to Travis, but Mel was like, she's like, no, I think it's a little too intense for him.
Sadly, part 2 would be better, but you don't have the history behind it.
Right, yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, well, firmly in the cult favorite section here, as a family, we sat down and watched on Hulu the other night the 1988 made-for-TV movie, A Very Brady Christmas.
Oh.
Yo, dude. This shit is wacky.
Yeah?
Yeah. So in 1988, they chose to do A Very Brady Christmas, which was obviously a reunion film of sorts. We have all of the original players except for one. We got Florence Henderson, we got Robert Reed, we got A.M.B. Davis, we got Maureen McCormick, Eve Plum, Barry Williams, Christopher Knight, Mike Lookinghand, and then replacing Cindy, we have Jennifer Runyon.
Huh.
Apparently, the actress that played Cindy, and I'm forgetting her name currently, I will look it up momentarily, was not in this because when they asked her, she was going to
Uh-huh.
Jamaica on her honeymoon at the time, Susan Olsen. but then apparently she found out after the fact that the production company only needed to deliver 5 of the children, and she was going to be the one that was going to be paid the least anyway. She's the most uninteresting one out of them all. But Susan Runyon, do you know who she is offhand?
No.
Susan Runyon was the blonde from Ghostbusters when Bill Murray was doing the psychic tests, and she kept getting the questions right.
Yeah.
But not really. And then the other dude kept getting shocked. But so she plays Cindy in this.
In the Ghostbusters documentary, they say that she did her hair, she got dressed, showed up to set, and they're like, that's perfect. And she's like, oh, I thought I'd have my hair done here. And they're like, nope, you look like a college student. We're good. So that's all her own makeup and clothes and stuff. So that's funny.
Very cheap for them. But so she plays Cindy Brady in this. And the basic idea of this is that, you know, all the Bradys are going to get back together for Christmas. It starts off in such a 1980s way where there's a misconception. Joe just said that I blew his mind because Cindy was in Ghostbusters. So you have Ma and Pa Brady, and both of them want to get something very special for the other for Christmas.
Oh my God. Are we doing a
Gift of the Magi?
Yeah. Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing. Okay. But they kind of drop that part of the way through it, and they both want to get each other and this is another bizarre. This movie it's got some really bizarre shit going on. And first and foremost, all of the Bradys kiss each other on the lips. It's
because they're all fucking.
Well, also because
off screen they're all fucking each other
because they're like a cult, apparently. Because cult leaders kiss everyone on the mouth. If you haven't watched The Vow, so Pa Brady, Mike, wants to give Florence Henderson a trip to Greece for Christmas. Or no. Sorry, backwards. Florence Henderson wants to give Mike a cruise to Greece. Mike wants to give Florence Henderson a trip to Japan. They apparently have this joint vacation account that for some reason they've been saving for many, many years. And one of them, and by one of them, I mean both of them, think that it's just okay to just take out the thousands of dollars, not tell the other one, and just book a trip and then give it as a present.
Yeah.
Weird. Right? So there's this ridiculous scene where Mike rolls into his local travel agency because, again, it's 1988 and that's how you book trips back then.
That's true.
And then Florence Henderson comes rolling in to book a trip. Mike is like, oh, I went to the bank and I took out the money, but Florence Henderson has a check with her. So Mike is like, oh, I'm going to plan this trip. I want to take the wife to Japan. And the guy's like, all right, great. You know, we'll get it worked out. And then she rolls in and she sits down in the cubicle next to him and is like, oh yes, my husband comes to this travel agency. I've never been here before, but I'd like to book a trip to Greece. And so she's like, all right. She's like, I brought a check for the down payment or whatever. She's like, all right, I just need to call the bank and verify it. And boom, the bank says you have $8.75 in your account. And she's like, well, no, that's not right. Well, you need to check it again. And she checks it again. And she's like, oh my God, someone took all our money. And at this point, then Mike Brady stands up next to her on the other side and turns and looks down, and she looks up and she's like, Mike, she's like, someone took all our money. And he's like, I took the money out. I was going to book you a trip to Greece.
Okay.
Or Japan or whatever. And then,
at least that's resolved quickly.
Fairly quickly, yeah. So then they get home and they're like, well, you know, what should we do? And they're like, you know what? It's been such a long time since all of the kids were home. Why don't we take the money that we've been saving, give everyone plane tickets to come, and then they can come home for Christmas? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, each of them have their own things going on. Was it the youngest son dropped out of school to become a race car driver, and he's wrestling with telling his parents that because he doesn't want them to worry about them. The youngest daughter, Jennifer Runyon, is Cindy. She is still in college apparently, and is like, hey, nobody ever listens to me. They just assume that I want to come home. They didn't ask me if I wanted to. They just told me to. And I was like, that's not what happened at all. They definitely were like, we would like you to come home for Christmas. And she took that as, stop telling me what to do.
Well, that's true to the character.
Sure.
We can do that, right?
Then the middle daughter, played by Eve Plum, I don't remember what her name was. She's in a marriage that's fallen apart and hasn't told the parents that they've been separated. Let's see what else is going on. And then Christopher Knight's character is a male chauvinistic pig because he's dating his boss, but he can't handle the fact that his boss has a higher level at the company than him.
Yeah, but I mean,
what?
Don't date your boss then.
Well, yeah, that's the simple thing. But he really loves her.
I'm having a hard time with that one.
Yeah. Oh, so did I, because he very much is like very like male chauvinistic pig type 80s guy in this, and he's just like, yeah, but I don't know if we can get married because she makes more money than me. And it's like, who cares?
More money is more money. What's the problem?
My wife makes way more money than me. I am grateful for it every day.
Yeah, money is money. Who cares where it comes from?
So obviously the whole thing kind of comes together, but there's this underlying story of, so Florence Henderson's character is now become a realtor, and she sold this plot of land to a big developer named Ted something or other. She then also suggested Mike Brady, the father, be the architect, because he's an architect and he was the architect in the series, to work with this guy Ted. But he's having issues because Ted wants to get out of it cheap, but Mike's like, no, listen, you need to have these other safety measures. So there's a point where Ted is basically like, well, listen, like, I don't want to put that much money into it. And Mike is like, hey, if you don't want to do these safety measures, that's I have to do that. And he's like, well, there's other architects in town. And he's like, hey, if you got to go that way, you got to go that way. So he ends up firing.
Who's he building this for? Trump?
Well, no, it's like a skyscraper. Like, it's like a big building. It's not.
So it's Trump. That's the bad guy.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, for real, the guy doesn't want smoke detectors in his things because then like how they look.
Yeah, it's true. So basically, they're having Christmas dinner or whatever, and the kids are all bearing their souls. I want to be a race car driver. Nobody listens to me. I'm a male chauvinistic pig.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of it, this Ted guy calls and is like, there's an issue down at the work site. And the issue is that, of course, the building is fucking collapsed and like trapped security guards inside it. So he's like, I can't get, so they're like, yeah, but you don't work for him anymore. And because he's Mike Brady, he's like, well, the guy that he hired isn't available. I'm the only guy that can help him because the Bradys are like the nicest people ever. Goes down there to help him and is like, hey, here's what you need to do. You need to take this backhoe. You need to dig a hole, and then we can hopefully, release the pressure enough to get the people out. So Mike Brady goes into the building and gets the people out. But then, of course, there's another collapse, and he gets trapped in the building.
Why is he there again?
Because he's Mike fucking Brady.
But he's not Mike the EMT or disaster rescue Mike.
Nope, but he gets trapped in the building. But you know what saves him?
Santa Claus?
No. Christmas songs. The whole family, of course, comes down.
Is this Ghostbusters too?
No, it's like Elf. They all come down and they're like, oh, we're so scared. We don't know. They won't let us try to get him out, blah, 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 blah. So they all start. So like there's like multiple times in this film where like they break into song. It's not a musical, but like out of nowhere, like somebody just starts singing like Jingle Bells, and all of a sudden before you know it, all 75 members of the Brady family are singing Jingle Bells. Jesus. So they're down at the work site and they're talking about Christmas memories because there's a couple throwbacks where they go back to old Brady episodes and they all start singing, and Mike hears them singing, and somehow their singing means that he can pull himself out of this building, and he gets himself out.
So it's like that issue of Spider-Man where he's trapped under all the debris with the water slowly rising.
Essentially, yeah. Only it's Bradyfied.
Jesus.
But Christ. I would have just been like, if you could get out the whole time, why didn't you just get out? Like,
how about don't fucking go there in the first place because you're not qualified for that.
Nope. But he saved the two guys and almost died in the process. So a very Brady sequel is a fucking weird movie, dude. Lots. He proceeded to get out of the building, then proceeds to kiss all of his family on the mouth, and then that's that. They all start singing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." And then the building.
Hark the Herald Angels sang what?
I don't know. Isn't that the song?
I don't know.
Anyway, so Very Brady sequel is highly entertaining.
God.
Not very good, but it is highly entertaining. So therefore, it gets the holiday C of approval. Check it out; it's worth it because it'll blow your mind, and it's such a piece of 1988 made for television movies. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God,
it's ridiculous, but it's worth watching. So,
wow,
yeah, man. Next, what do you got?
Scrooged, the classic Bill Murray take on A Christmas Carol. It's got Bobcat Goldthwait in it, and Karen Allen, who is absolutely adorable in this. And it's a modern retelling of A Christmas Carol, and I believe everybody that listens to this show has seen it. So I'm just gonna say it is highly recommended. I'm glad Chevy Chase isn't in it, and I'm gonna give it an A-. It's one of my favorites. Favorite adaptations, not strict retellings. How about that?
Okay, all right, I'm into that.
How many you got left? Because I have 2.
Let's see here. I have 1, 2. I have 3.
Okay, why don't you do 1 then?
All right then. Well, all right. Let's talk about something called Mother Krampus.
Yeah, I was curious. I almost watched that.
Mother Krampus.
It got better ratings than Krampus Origins and Krampus Unleashed.
All right, so Mother Krampus. Based on the myth of Frau Perchta, a witch that comes on the 12 days of Christmas, taking children each night. I don't know if that's a real. It says here, based on the German urban legend of Frau Perchta, the Christmas witch, who takes a child each night over the 12 days of Christmas. For the 12 days before the Christmas of 1921, children went missing near the local town's woods. A traumatized girl was found, but her mind. What is making a weird sound in my headphones? Sorry. A traumatized girl was found, but her mind was gone. She later died of her horrific injuries. Just before the Christmas of 1992, a further 5 children disappeared again. Their bodies were found in the same woods. Angry and seeking vengeance, the locals hung a woman they believed to be the killer. But before dying, she cursed the town that one day the Christmas witch, Frau Percha, would come for them and avenge her death. 25 years later, the story has become a little more of a local myth. But as children start to go missing again, everyone begins to wonder if the tales of a curse might be true. This Christmas, it's not only the children that are in danger, it is the adults too.
It says Perchta is often identified as stemming from the same Germanic goddess as Holda and other female figures of German folklore, like Frisia and Frigg. According to Jacob Grimm and Lottie Motz, Perchta is Holda's southern cousin or equivalent, as they both share the role of guardian of the beasts and appear during the 12 days of Christmas when they oversee spinning. So it's a real legend.
But you know what? It has absolutely nothing to do with
Christmas.
Krampus.
The legend.
Has
anything horror.
Krampus. It has nothing to do with Krampus. And this movie's called Mother Krampus.
Well, because Mother Perchta.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. I can look at this movie a couple ways. I can look at it against all of the other Krampus movies that we watched, and I can say it's okay. It's okay. But I can look at it kind of like on its own away from those, and it's a hell of a lot worse then.
Okay.
So, they basically take like that urban legend and kind of just put a spin on it. So you have this daughter, Anna, and this is also British, by the way, if I did mention that.
It's to be fair, it's not an urban legend. It's an old folklore legend.
Right. Yes, that's true. So the mother goes to her father's house with the daughter for Christmas. Her husband has run away with a younger woman over Christmas.
Gave himself a present, huh?
Yeah, And like, so like the daughter wants the father to show up, and then the father comes with his new girlfriend, which I'm just like, why would you do that? Like if you were that guy and you left the mother, you wouldn't come to her father's house with your new girlfriend for Christmas.
I wouldn't go at all.
No, you wouldn't. And if you did for some reason go because your daughter wanted you to be there, you wouldn't bring the new girlfriend. And if you're the girl, and if you are an idiot enough to be like, yeah, and the girl would be like, no, I'm not going. Like your wife, who you're still married to, is going to be there, and her father and your daughter, all of whom hate me.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's real weird. So the demon Mother Krampus kind of just appears out of nowhere, kidnaps a kid from a church.
Sure.
There's candy all over the floor of the church, which I'm not sure if that's a thing. But like
that's how the church gets their kids now.
Apparently. But so this kid's picking up all this stuff, and then she's like just outside the door, and he's like, "Oi, you have another sweet?" And she's like, "Yes, come here." And then she just grabs him and pulls him out.
All right. Is she big, intimidating, pretty, ugly? What do we got going on?
Ugly. She's all like her teeth are gnarled out. She's wearing colored contact lenses. She's in dark shawls. The character's fine, but the problem is that they tell this story about how they thought that this woman kidnapped and killed all these children. So they took her out to the woods and hung her, and then she cursed them before she died.
As you do.
But like the character that's coming for them, the Perkshna or the Mother Krampus or whatever you want to call it, there's not really like a rhyme or reason, it seems, to do for what she's doing. I guess it's supposed to be the kids of the people that they Freddy Kruegered it. Freddy's haunting the dreams of the kids of the, paying for the parents' sin or whatever it is.
Okay.
But that's not real clear in the way that's presented. And like she just like is just kind of there and like is supernatural, but like not supernatural.
Okay.
And like there's this scene where like there's the one of the kids from the school who's sweet on Anna, and they're both young. They're probably like 12 years old. Like they're young kids, but like like he's got a crush on Anna, and Anna likes him, so he goes to her house and gives her a present or whatever. And then the aunt shows up because his mother's not around, and is like, oh, we got to go home. She's like, and everyone's freaked out because all the kids are disappearing. But then they like are walking through the woods and he's like pushing his bike through the woods, and they're like, what's that over there? And they see this little fire, and there's all these gingerbread cookies on the fire, but they're actually made of skin. And then the Mother Krampus grabs the ant and kills the ant, and then throws him in a sack, I guess.
Okay, so that's a little Krampus-like.
A little. Like, I guess they tried to make her look like that, but they didn't do anything.
Oh.
So the writing is where this film really fails, because I feel like they did okay with the obviously low budget that they had, but the direction is unclear in what they're trying to show. So the director, I don't feel, does a really good job of showcasing what he's got. And the friggin' writing is awful because like it doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, it's fine in the way that it looks. It's just not clear what they're trying to accomplish, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just don't understand how films like this get sequels made. Like, and then they made a sequel to this, but I'm like, like, I understand. Let me see if I can think of an example of Hatchet. I understand how Hatchet got a sequel made. People liked it, and it was somewhat popular.
Okay.
And then kind of grew. I think Hatchet would be considered a cult film at this point. And its popularity grew through word of mouth. But like, who in their right mind was like, oh, you guys should do a sequel to this? Like, that's the part that I don't understand. Is like, are you that hard up for ideas that you don't like, and this is a full length movie. This isn't like a sequel to a short or something like that, where it's like you can do it on your own dime or whatever and like, make what you want to make. This is like a full-fledged feature. I don't know, man.
Maybe it was, okay, we'll make another. We already have the costume done.
But the costume is just like, it's nothing special.
Oh.
It's not like there was like prosthetics or like, it was like cut up black rags.
I can't answer that
I don't
question.
know, man.
Then.
It's not very good. If you put it up against the other Krampus movies we watched, it's better than all of them probably, except for maybe the Adam Scott one, because obviously the Adam Scott Toni Collette one was very good.
Yes.
It's probably better than most of that other crap we watched though. But that's not saying much. Like if you see Krampus with Toni Collette and Adam Scott, and then you watch Mother Krampus, you're like, wow, this movie fucking sucks. But if you watch Krampus Origins or Krampus Chrome Skull or whatever it was,
Chrome Skull,
and then you watch this and you're like, this wasn't as bad as those.
I'd watch Krampus Chrome Skull.
You did. It was called Krampus the Awakening. No, wait.
Oh.
No, it was Krampus Origins was the one that was like the skull one, right?
Oh, yeah, no, but if he was actually Chrome Skull, I would watch that.
If Nick Principe was actually Chrome Skull?
And it was the actual character, yeah, I would definitely watch that.
So I do not recommend Mrs. Krampus or Mother Krampus or whatever it's called.
Let me give that a resounding no shit.
And it's going to get a straight D. It's only minuscule amounts better than the glut of Krampus shit that we dealt with a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
What else you got?
I watched one on Shudder called Christmas Presents.
Oh, I watched that too.
Evil Presents or Why Hide is another title.
Yeah, I watched that too. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Christmas Presents, 2018. Directed by James Edward Cook. Written by James Edward Cook. Starring people you don't know.
Yeah, but you sort of recognize.
Right. There are a lot of British actors and actresses. Well, they are all British actors and actresses.
Right. It's a group of friends. Well, it starts off with two girls going through the woods and getting to a mini Stonehenge type thing, and then one of the girls disappears. Later on, you find out that they're twins, not friends. I don't know if that was made clear enough in the beginning.
It was not made clear enough in the beginning.
And then we just jump forward because why not? And it's a whole bunch of people, a very diverse group of people that are going to a house in the woods. And when I say house in the woods, I mean a stone cottage. It's very nice.
It's not a cottage. It's like a mansion.
It's a straight up house. Yeah.
It's huge.
But what I don't understand is they pull up and Anita, who is the snotty woman of the group, who's having trouble with her husband. What was his name? Marcus. She's like, I hope they have running water. I'm like, it's made out of fucking slate and flagstone. I mean, come on. What do you like? This house is probably worth $1.5 million easy.
Oh, easily. Yeah, for sure.
So there's one gay man. There's basically of all of the LGBTQ and straight, everybody is represented, which is great. But it has almost no bearing on the movie except for a little bit of anger and jealousy between two characters.
Right.
We have Hugo, who's played by William Holstead, who hates the new girlfriend of this other girl because she is less, since it's English, she's less posh and more working on a farm, I guess. She makes her own cheese. She's not traditionally attractive. She's a little bit overweight. And Hugo is that kind of person that Dan Levy could be. Mm-hmm. The patronizing, pretentious asshole that judges everybody based on his own personal ideas of how everyone should be.
Yep.
And that really has nothing to do with the fact that he's gay and is more to the flamboyant side of it. It's more that he's just a fucking asshole.
Right.
Of a human.
Yeah, he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah. It played to a T. I hated him almost immediately because he gives the best, worst looks. Like, he doesn't even have to say shit. He just makes terrible faces. So what's going on in this movie basically is that this house is, they're being terrorized by some kind of spirit.
Yep. And
they don't quite believe it. And it kind of, after the big drunken photo session,
well, yeah, we have to mention that his character also like is like a fashion designer.
Yeah,
because he talks about how he's got to go to Barcelona or whatever it was to model or to work with Tom Ford, or like, he drops a couple like big designer names.
Right. And nobody cares, but they pretend to care.
Right, because he's their friend.
Yeah, and Jo is her name, the girlfriend that just wears like a sweater, a dumpy sweater, and comfortable clothes. She's on vacation. It's comfortable clothing. So why judge her for
Terry.
That? What's that?
She's Vacation Terry.
Yeah. Except she doesn't have the little nips. They're all just giant bottles in the house.
Yeah, there's a lot of drinking. A lot of drinking in the front half of this movie.
There is, but that's that was okay because they set up a fake photo shoot and everybody's having a good time. So then it starts to seem like everybody sort of gets along to a point. We got Lorna and Marcus whose marriage is basically like one brick away from collapsing around everyone in the story. So there's a lot of personal drama in this that leads us up to who was the main character? Was it Mackenzie or Samantha?
Mackenzie, I believe.
Mackenzie is the one then we'll go with that says she finally admits and tells the story about when her sister disappeared, which is when I think we as the audience learned it was her sister. And they are close to where it happened. And that's basically when the haunting begins. Hugo goes out and he gets killed. Everybody thinks he's already left. They bring the body into the house, and Mackenzie sees Hugo tied up, bloodied upstairs in the closet in one of the bedrooms, and insists that he's alive.
Well, yeah, because he talks to her.
Right. She insists to the rest of the people. She ties them. She gets the gun. She ties them up. And she's like, no, and they're like, no, he's in the kitchen. And she goes into the kitchen. And this is actually one thing I liked about the movie is she goes in the kitchen. She pulls the sheet off. It's his dead corpse that hasn't moved.
No question. This dude is not breathing.
She goes back in. She puts the gun down and she starts untying people. And she's like, I am so sorry. And they never bring it up again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. So she had a mental breakdown and she's okay now. But then the table raises up and slams down and moves everybody around in their chairs. And at that point, all bets are off. So I think that went a long way for them to forget about it. Because they're like, okay, well, if it fooled you. So there's a lot of hoodoo from Anita, a lot of voodoo and a lot of regression therapy and a lot of what people would call woo. And she talks about the Nazi, the Loki equivalent spider trickster god, and how it can make you see what he wants to see. So that probably explains Hugo. And basically what we have is a spirit that is tricking people to their deaths. There is some interesting character design. I loved the way he was portrayed from Anita's point of view with the smoky body and the long spider fingers and the head that looked like a spider, but not really.
But it was almost like Lost in the Shadows type.
Yeah, it wasn't smoke, it wasn't fog. It was kind of like a mix between thick ink, oil, and fog flowing around him. It was actually the best part of the whole movie was except when he showed up as the circus Tengu looking guy. I was not
Yeah,
a fan of that part. But
yo,
it's everybody's individual fears, so that's fine. But that's what we get. We get people getting together for the holiday, and then they are tormented and killed with their own worst fears.
right. So Christmas plays virtually no role in this movie.
Right.
None.
Right.
Really.
It's the catalyst to get them together. Like that girl didn't even disappear at Christmas. It wasn't like a Yule.
Right.
Like we just had on Yule. We had the Great Conjunction from the Dark Crystal just happen in our galaxy. And like nothing happened.
Right.
There's no ghosts walking around.
Was there even like a Christmas tree or like presents other than like when he gave them like that weird lingerie? Like I don't think there was any.
No,
like,
no, because they showed up
decoration
at the house.
Yeah.
So no, that's it. I think that's originally why it was called Why Hide.
And then they renamed it to a Christmas thing to
Yeah.
get more people to watch it.
Yeah.
That is such bullshit. One thing
Yeah.
I've learned through doing all these holiday horror movies is like I fucking hate how much they will just like use something to try to get eyes on it. I understand it. And I'm not saying that I'm not above that and wouldn't do that myself if I was in the right position for it, but I hate it as a viewer where I'm like, this is not Christmas. This doesn't do anything for me.
Right.
Here's the thing. I thought this movie fucking sucked.
I did not like it.
I didn't. Yeah. I not into it at all.
The creature design though, I was very happy with the creature design.
Only redeeming value. I didn't like the characters. I thought the writing in it was muddy at best. You couldn't really figure out what the hell was going on because there was no clear direction being done. The acting was fine because they're all pretty much everyone in this is like a British character actor.
Yeah, they were good.
The acting was fine. They did what they could, but the direction was unclear for them. So between direction and writing, you're not gonna overcome that. Like you could have a great script and a partially, deft director, like, and get a pretty good flick. But if you've got a bad direction based off a bad screenplay, the best performance in the world isn't going to save you. And that's what happens in this, is because I think there were some interesting ideas, but the problem was you didn't know what they were because they were never really told you in a clear, concise manner. They explain what's going on because then there's some bullshit about like, and you see it at the beginning, but then you don't see it again till like the end. Bullshit about these runes and the devil, and then the guy that runs the house like doing sacrifices and like.
That was kind of like, what was the point of that?
The point of that was that we needed to tie this up and have it make sense.
And also, a girl inside a box that's on fire can't kick her way out. That was not a strong looking crate she was in.
No. Like, and I thought this sucked. I was super let down by this because I was like, oh, sweet. I'm like British. I'm like, all right, cool. Different type of look. Awesome. And it I shouldn't say very quickly. I should say it very slowly, because the whole front half of this movie is very slow.
Yeah.
Just kind of meanders itself into complete, like, I barely remember the end of it. The only thing I remember is the old guy that runs the house coming and cleaning the place up and then putting the box outside and being like, oh, 666 devil, blah. Like,
yeah.
Stupid.
Pretty much.
Well, do you recommend it?
No.
No, I do not.
No, I would say maybe Google the creature images.
Yep.
And
just watch
and
the
that's
trailer.
about
You
it.
see the creature in the trailer.
Oh, okay, that's enough then.
Just watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that one of your 3?
That was one of my 3. Yeah. So I have.
All right.
I think I have. Am I down to 1? Maybe.
Yep, you should be.
All right. Hold, please. Let me get the list up here. What the hell was that one last called? Christmas Presents. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched a classic.
Oh, hold on. I got one more. Do you want to go last?
Oh yeah, I'll go. Yeah, you can go.
Okay. So I was going through a list. I went through Wikipedia for holiday horror movies, and it listed all the holiday movies, and it had, a Christmas tree, a turkey. So you'd know what holidays, a menorah, whatever. So I found one called Mercy Christmas. Have you ever heard of it?
I feel like I came across it at some point, but I didn't watch it. I definitely haven't seen it.
It is on Amazon Prime, and here's the basic rundown. We are introduced to Michael Brisket, and they make fun of him because, oh, that's my favorite cut of meat. He meets a woman at work during the Christmas party who's delivering him the reports he needs to finish for the boss so he can do a big presentation and get a nice big fat contract for the company. He invites her. He's invited the whole office, but he invites her personally to his Christmas party, and he's a fat bald loser, I think would be the casting call for him.
Fat bald loser, all right.
But he's nice. He's a nice guy. He likes Christmas. He likes the idea of celebrating the holidays and happiness and, you know, seeing hope in the middle of the dark seasons and the whole tradition. So she comes to his house. They have some eggnog. They talk a little about family and Christmas and stuff. And you find out that his mother is on a cruise. That's her present to herself every year. And he has no brothers or sisters. And, you know, he's basically, he's going to be alone for Christmas like every year. And she's like, well, you know, why don't you come with me to my family's house for Christmas? And he's super excited about it. So she picks him up at 10:30 the next morning, and you feel bad because there's a long scene where he's standing outside with his white shirt, his red sweater vest, and a green tie. Like, he is all fucking in for Christmas. And he's standing outside his LA apartment and just waiting, and you hear a couple horns honk and the cars drive by, and you're like, oh, she's gonna stand him up. But she pulls up and she takes him to the family's house. Everybody's super nice. They're all welcoming. They have eggnog. They show up so that they have lunch, and it's I pulled up my headphone cord again. They have
you can't hear me.
They have a nice meal. He compliments the meat. And he drinks some eggnog because the dad's like, oh, she tells me that, you know, that you love eggnog, so why don't we do a toast? Her name is Cindy. And he promptly passes out.
Okay.
He wakes up tied up in the basement,
as you're known to do,
with other people. And he starts screaming, and the woman down there is like, bitch, don't you think I fucking tried that? So they invited him for Christmas dinner. If you've ever seen The Twilight Zone, and they say, it's so great, we're so happy to have you for dinner. Yes, this is a family of cannibals who have kidnapped people off the street, and they are going to eat them. Twist, Michael Brisket, right? That's his name. Yep. Michael Brisket. Michael Brisket's boss shows up because he's part of the family. And they can't kill him right away because he needs those reports done.
I love it. I love it.
So he wraps him up in Christmas lights. He bare wires the end of the thing, and he has him attached to a power strip. And the poor dude is sitting at the kitchen table, the dining room table, doing the reports. And every like 30, 40 seconds, he just flicks the switch. And it's a great thing for the actor and the sound department, because when the lights come on, he knows he has to act like he's getting shocked. And the Foley people know this is where we put the electric sound. And you know, as a visual cue, that if you see the lights light up in the other room, you know he's getting electrocuted. He's electrocuted a lot. A lot. And through the course, there's another kid downstairs. They cut off his legs. They haven't hurt Brisket at this point, except for a severe beating. and keeping him electrocuted, but they have him tied up in Christmas lights the whole time. And they like go to church. They're doing Christmas things. The daughter's making Christmas dinner. They have Rocky Mountain oysters, you know, all the traditional stuff. She butterflies the kidneys. And then one of the boyfriends brings his new girlfriend, who's a police dispatch officer. And the brother, the businessman brother that's forcing him to do the paperwork, loses his shit. He's like, this is a tradition that dates back centuries in our family, and we can't have one cop fuck it up. And he's like, she's a dispatch officer, not a cop. There's a fucking difference. And it's a whole big back and forth, and they're going to get married. And the big test is to have her actually eat some of the human meat.
Right.
And she eats some of this dude's, Eddie, some of his leg meat. And I have to say, when they cut that thing, it looks so good because it's meat. It's actual meat.
Right.
It's like roast beef. And she eats it and she is all in. She loves him. She knows what the family's about, but the son just can't. He's like, she's gonna fuck it all up.
Right.
And his basic thing is she's not like mom. And this is where the movie I think is kind of brilliant, because it's cannibalism aside, it's the same thing of bringing somebody new into the family. It's like, well, they're not like anybody else. They're not going to fit in. And the dad said something interesting. He's like, you know what, your mom. So we know that through this, it's the father side of the family that's been doing the tradition. It's like, your mom, you know, she didn't know anything when she came over for the first meal. And then she became the best cook out of all of us. And we need children to pass this tradition down to. And if you keep rejecting everybody, we're not going to be able to, there won't be any more generations. And it's kind of an interesting family thing where it's like, you know, yeah, if you don't trust anybody, your family traditions will die, and your family name will just disappear. However, these are cannibals, so it's different. But it's an interesting point. It's a very interesting logical argument they have about, you know, accepting people for who they are and giving them a chance, right, under the most egregious circumstances you could have in a movie. And this is, I think, up there with Krampus as the most rooted in holiday that a holiday horror movie can be, because he is constantly covered in Christmas lights. He's dressed Christmas style. He is literally going to be Christmas dinner, and everything revolves around the family getting together for Christmas. It feels a little low budget, but it doesn't matter. I actually enjoyed it. You know exactly where it's going to go, but you don't care, because Brisket, the guy playing Michael Brisket, Stephen Hubble or Hubel, I'm not sure. This is only his like third or fourth acting gig. Before this, he did a lot of key grip stuff on like the Avengers and things like that. All right. He was great. I really enjoyed his performance, and the other people in it. They were evil pieces of shit when they needed to be. The granny was kind of sinister, because she's like dealt with this for, you know, decades. So right, she's like, yeah, we got to just do this right. It was it's worth a watch. It's on Amazon Prime. I'm gonna recommend it. A lot of the horror and violence takes place in brightly lit places. And it was filmed in LA, so there's no snow. It's a bright, sunny, you know, cloudless day. And I'll give it a B, maybe even a B+. All
right, sounds pretty good to me.
It was a very nice surprise, because I randomly chose it. So
sometimes that works out.
Yeah. Not
often, but sometimes.
No, once this holiday season.
No. Well, I guess there was, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
So to close it out, I will be talking about one that I consider an absolute holiday horror cult classic. It's currently on Shudder and a couple other places. We're going to close it out with Christmas Evil. which is one that we actually you weren't there for it, Chris, but the first year we did OTC, former co-host Ryan and I did a cable access type video episode that we filmed.
I remember that.
Yep, we filmed it in like a cable studio, and we reviewed Christmas Evil and For All a Good Night were the two that we reviewed. So this one is a very well known, if you're in the cult film circles, directed by Lewis Jackson, who also worked on some other stuff, but this is really what he's known for. And this is kind of like one of those earlier type of like super controversial. 1980 was the year. Guy in a Santa suit murdering people. And it's pretty simple story. You have a toy factory worker. Well, before that, he's scarred as a kid because he sees Santa Claus come into the house, and he's there with the brother, and the brother's like, "That's not really Santa Claus. That was Dad." And he's like, "No, that was really him. Why else would he be here?" And they're like, "He saw us, and he ate our cookies and stuff." And he's like, "No," he's like, "That was Dad. That wasn't Santa Claus." So crushes the kid, and then the kid sneaks downstairs because he hears some noises downstairs, and he sees his mother getting I guess what would be 1980s freaky with Santa Claus. But
the word you're looking for is railed.
No. There is a lot of like foot and leg worship going on in this.
Oh, Tarantino'd.
Yes, it gets very Tarantino'd because she's just like at her leg, and he's like very slowly like stroking her leg, and then like rubbing her foot, and then like stroking her leg a little bit more. And she just,
all right, so PG-13, PG sex.
Right, but this movie is not PG, so.
Well, that's weird.
So he grows up to work in a toy store. He's all about keeping the Christmas spirit alive, and trying to make it like a real thing, like a tangible like Christmas spirit. And he's obsessed with the local children's behavior in the town. He has a book where he writes who's naughty and who's nice, and he is super obsessed with the quality of the toys that are being made in the toy factory, to the point where like he gets mad because they're cheaping out on things. And there's a part where before he snaps, they're having like the company Christmas party or whatever, and they bring in like one of the hot new young manager type guys, and he's a guy that came and worked on the line and worked his way up and now works in management, but like the new guys are trying to cut corners on cost, and like the quality of the stuff goes down, and he's just fighting for these things. And every time he talks to somebody about like Christmas things, he gets like criticized by everyone, and like they give him shit and they make fun of him, and he like just gets walked all over. But it all ties back to Christmas for him, so he's very much like in the spirit. And he paints a sleigh on the side of his van, and he gets this Santa Claus outfit, which is like a little bit different because it's got like a dark fur on it, and like the coat is kind of like flowy. But it just comes to this point where he just fucking snaps, and he's gonna go out and he's gonna get toys for children. He breaks into the place where he works, takes a whole bunch of toys. And so he's going to go around and he's going to give kids toys. He goes first. There's this conversation they have about this children's hospital at the party, and the company is flaunting how they went and they gave toys to these kids at this hospital. And he says to the one of the other managers and the young manager guy, like, "Well, how many toys did we give to the hospital? Do we give enough for every kid to have a toy?" And they're like, "I don't know. It's it's about the press or whatever. It's not really about what we give," and blah 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 blah. So he steals a whole bunch of toys, fills his van up with toys, and has these big sacks, and he goes down to the hospital.
Okay.
And he knocks on the door, and the wily old security guard comes out and is like, "Dude, what are you doing?" He's like, "Who are you? Why are you here? It's the middle of the night." And he's like, "Oh, I'm in a hurry. I got a lot of toys to give away." And the guys, and now you're like, "Oh shit, he's snapped. Like he's going to fucking murder this guy." But so he's like, "Hey, listen," he's like, "I'm Santa Claus. I've got these toys for the kids." And the guy's like, "Listen, man, you can't be here." And he's like, "Hey, I have a present for you." And he gives him a present. And I'm like, "Oh shit, it's going to like explode or something." But no, he like gives him a present. And the guy's like, "Okay, this guy's legit. He's really going to give presents." So he's like, "Hang on a second." let me check inside. And then they bring some of the doctors out, and then he ends up giving all these toys to the doctors. And like, it's this really nice moment. And you're like, I know where the movie's going, obviously, but if like you don't know where the movie's going, you're like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going. So I'm like, okay,
things,
this is a nice feel good movie.
Yeah. You're like, all right, things are, he gave these toys to and everyone at the hospital was like, thank you so much. This is going to mean so much to the kids. And you're like, all right, cool. Great. That doesn't last long. Because then he shows up outside a church. Everyone's coming out of mass at the church, and he's standing at the bottom of the stairs, and he's holding the sack full of toys. And a bunch of people are like, oh, hey, Santa, hey, how's it going? And then like these two couples come down, and you got those two fucking asshole type guys that are like, oh, hey, rather than like, you know, like be like, hey, it's cool that Santa's here. We're going to make fun of him, and we're going to give him shit.
Coming out of church
because, you know, cool. Because, you know, religion is cool. Well,
the funny thing is, that's not too far off. My mother-in-law stopped going to her church because people would act all holy and, you know, like, oh, you know, forgive my sins and blah, blah, blah on Sundays. But then every other day of the week, they were fucking assholes. And she's like, this church isn't doing anybody any good. And that's exactly what you're saying. They walk out the door and start making fun of a guy dressed like Santa. Did you not pay attention to what was just said in there?
Right. So they give him shit, dude, and they're all over him. And then he just stabs one of them in the eye with a sharpened candy cane.
All right.
And then he kills the other guy and then kills one of the girls and then runs off. And you're like, oh, now it's on.
Santa don't take shit.
No. And he goes on this killing spree and gives toys to the kids. And then, you know, like fucks up anybody that gives him shit. Anyone
that's the Santa-ist Santa I've ever heard.
Yeah. It's a rough looking movie. It's made on the cheap, but it's made on the cheap in 1980. So it's still shot on film. It's got a very specific look to it. The version that is on Shudder is the Vinegar Syndrome version of it. It looks, you know, for what it is, it looks great. It is like people want to talk about. Hang on, I'm sorry, I just got a random email.
I thought you froze. I thought the video
I got an
froze.
email from Kyle.
You just stopped moving. That's what it was.
Yeah, sorry. He's working on something. Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter, Chris. Doesn't concern you.
I'm not paying attention.
No,
anyway,
it looks great. This is like, to me, like this is like the epitome of the holiday horror cult horror film. Like it absolutely checks all the boxes. It's completely entwined with Christmas. It's got enough money into it that it doesn't look too cheap, but it's still like not like a major monster production. Any type of special effects or like anything like that is all kind of what it is. It's great. It's great. I mean, it's grimy. It's dirty. It's awesome. I'm recommending Christmas Evil. It's also under the title You Better Watch Out. And I'm going to give it a B.
Nice.
So
the last ones that we watched were good and they checked all the boxes.
They did. Absolutely. So
not bad.
I'm sure we'll probably try to do this again next year if we're still doing live shows, because there's so many. I can't believe how many there is. I really can't. And as we saw with you, with finding the one that you found tonight, there are good ones out there. They're not all Krampus Awakening.
No, it's just luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw, it really is. So I'm going to say that brings us to a close for today's live show, because we're going a little long and I also have to pee. What else is new? Right. So if you want to get in on the Top 20 Album Show, shoot me a direct message on Instagram at OTC Bill, or hit me up on Facebook in the group, any of those places. Just say you want to get the information. We'll get you hooked up with the studio audience. Next week, we are not doing a live show. And I don't know if we're going to have a regular new episode. I think I might put out something just so Chris and I take the week off. Actually, I'll just say that's what we're going to do. So there'll be no brand new OTC episode next week, but there will be content, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
Worry about it.
And then the week after that, are we doing our top 10 of the year?
I'm gonna need some time, I think, to watch some stuff, so we'll have to discuss that. And then obviously our schedule might be changing too, because Chris is gonna be starting his new job in the next week or two. So we'll have to figure that out. I think we may be able to roll with what we have, but we'll let you know if anything.
I think so.
So, thank you guys for hanging out with us on the live show. Thank you guys for listening along. If you have any questions or anything, hit us up at Facebook or on Instagram. And yeah, happy holidays to everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even play our little stinger.